Hello, today we'll be talking about the function and sitting test. First, we'll talk about scoring. A 4 is independent, which means the patient is able to complete the task independently and successfully. A 3, the patient is able to complete the task independently, but just needs more time or more cues. A 2 means the patient must use upper extremity for support or assistance to successfully complete the task. A 1 means that the patient is unable to complete the task without physical assistance, and we need to make sure that we document the level of assistance. A 0 means that the patient requires complete physical assistance and is unable to complete the task successfully, even with physical assist. For the anterior nudge test, a light pressure is applied to the superior sternum. For the posterior nudge test, a light pressure is applied between the scapular spines. For the lateral nudge test, a light pressure is applied to the dominant side at the acromion. Next, we will do a static sitting. Make sure to instruct the patient to sit tall with their hands in their lap and time for 30 seconds. After that, we will do the sitting and shake no test. Instruct the patient to sit steady and tall and to not use their hands unless needed for balance. They will move their head left and right. Next, we will be doing the sitting with eyes closed. Instruct the patient to sit steady and tall and to close their eyes and time for 30 seconds. We'll be doing the sitting and lifting foot test. Instruct the patient to lift their dominant foot 1 inch off the ground twice. For the test to pick up an object from behind, place an object at midline. Instruct the patient to turn his or her trunk to look for the object and not just reach with the arm and feel for it. For the forward reach test, one hand is kept in the lap and the dominant arm is used to reach forward as far as they can. The patient must go through full range of motion to complete the task. For the lateral reach, instruct the patient to reach out as far as they can using their dominant side while keeping the arm at shoulder height. The patient must clear the opposite ischial tuberosity. Place an object between the patient's feet and have the patient pick the object up using their dominant hand. Next, we will be doing scooting exercises. First, have the patient scoot anteriorly 2 inches, then posteriorly 2 inches, and finally laterally 2 inches towards the dominant side.
Okay, so next we have the goal attainment scale. The goal attainment scaling is a method for measuring individual and program goal achievement. Instead of normal goals that a patient either meets or does not meet, the goal attainment scale allows for the patient to see a range of possible outcomes from much less than expected, which is scored as a -2, to much more than expected, which is a +2. It is ideal for the patient to participate in scaling their selected goals, which is what Tabor and Logan are doing right now. Start with a baseline performance at the much less than expected, then come up with a realistic outcome for the expected outcome box, then come up with better or worse outcomes for the remaining boxes. Complete this for all goals in the template. So here's an example that you can pause and look at.
So today we're going to be doing the mini mental state examination. There's quite a bit to this, so let's go ahead and get started. So it's best to go ahead and read the instructions that come with this in advance, because you'll need to do a couple of things and kind of be on top of it. But basically, so the first question you'll ask is, Tabor, can you tell me what the year is?
It's 2018.
Okay. Do you know what season it is?
It is currently summer.
Okay. And then, do you know the date of today?
It is 09/20/2018.
Okay. And then, do you know what day of the week it is?
It is currently Thursday.
Okay. And then, do you know what month it is?
It is September.
Okay. And then you'll score, each one of those questions is 1 point, and you'll just add it up, and you'll get a score for each column. This test is pretty straightforward. You just have to read what is stated on the box. Now on to the next question. So, Tabor, can you tell me where we're at right now and what state we're in?
We're currently at UAM's campus.
Okay. And do you know what county we're in?
We're in Washington County.
Okay.
And we're in Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know what town we're in?
We're currently in Tabor.
Okay. And you said the hospital's name is UAMS. Do you know what floor we're on though?
We're on the first floor.
Okay. Once again, you just put a this is what I was talking about. You have to kind of be on top of things. So you have to have 3 unrelated objects, and you have to say them clearly and slowly, and then you ask them to name all those 3. So, Tabor, I'm just going to say a couple of words, and I want you to repeat those back to me, okay? So, beer, apple, wolf. Can you say this back to me?
Beer, apple, wolf.
Okay, good. And then if they aren't able to repeat them, then you just put the number that they could repeat correctly. There's a point for each one, and they keep on trying up to a total of 6 trials. And if they can't do it at all, then you cannot meaningfully test recall. And then after you do this, Tabor, I just want you to remember those 3 words, because in a little bit I'm going to ask you them again, okay? All right, and then you move on to the next question. So, Tabor, can you count backwards from 100 by 7s?
Okay, so 193, 86, 79, 65. No, 72, 65.
Okay, and then you give a point, you go up to 5 subtractions, and you get a point for each one of those. And if they can't do this, an alternative is you can ask them to spell world backwards, and then you just score the number of correct answers.
D.
And then, hey, earlier, I told you the name of those 3 things that I wanted you to remember. Can you repeat those back to me again?
Beer, apple, wolf.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll give them a 3 out of 3 for that. And then now you're supposed to show the patient 2 simple objects. I have a pencil and a wristwatch here. Tabor, can you tell me the names of what I'm holding in my hand here?
Well, you just said pencil. I'm just joking.
All right, and then you know what this is?
Watch.
Okay, awesome. So he would get full points for that. Can you repeat the phrase, no ifs, ands, or buts?
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Okay, awesome. And then you have to have a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and you simply just give it to the patient. Tabor, once you take this in your right hand, okay, fold it in half, and then just place it on the floor.
Does it matter which way I fold it?
All right, awesome. And then just go ahead and pick that back up for me.
Okay.
All right, so he would get full points for that. Yeah. So he just gets a point for each part that he can do correctly. And then you need to go back to the blank piece of paper. It says what to write on here, and the instruction is write clearly, close your eyes on the piece of paper. Don't say it out loud like I just did, obviously. But I'm just going to largely print the words. All right, Tabor, so I've written a sentence on here. I just want you to read it and then do what the sentence says, okay? So Tabor reads it. Just close your eyes on it. All right, and then Tabor closes his eyes. Perfect. All right, go ahead and take that back. And then you can fold the piece of paper. I don't think it matters. But now, Tabor, I want you to make up a sentence about anything. Okay?
Okay.
Just a complete sentence.
Any requirements?
So the requirements are, I don't believe you're supposed to say this to the patient, but it says that it has to have a noun and a verb. And it doesn't matter grammatically or anything, as long as it's a complete sentence with a noun and a verb in it. And you're not supposed to give them a sentence to do it. They need to come up with it spontaneously. All right, he wrote, the cat plays with the ball. There's a subject and a verb, good to go. So he gets full points for that. And I'm assuming that if they cannot do that, then they just get 0 points for it. And then the very last one, there's a figure on this piece of paper that they need to, you're going to show them the figure, and then they're going to draw the piece of paper. And it doesn't matter rotation-wise or anything, they just have to have all 10 angles present, and they must intersect at one point. So Tabor, I got this little figure here. You can see that. I just want you to take this piece of paper and draw that for me if you can. Just as good as you can do. I'm not here to rate your art ability. Okay. And he could do that. So he gets a complete point of that. And then you just total up the scores, and basically the cutoffs are anything below 24 is abnormal. If they're less than 21, they have increased odds of dementia. Anything greater than 25, they have decreased odds of dementia. And then there's different scores for education and severity. And that's it.
Hi, sorry, come in. Hello, sir. You think, would you feel up to getting up and walking a little bit today, maybe moving to a chair?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right, so what I want you to do, can you roll towards me? Are you able to do that by yourself? Good job. All right. So what I want you to try to do next is I'm going to have you try to sit up here on the edge, and we're going to try to move over to that chair.
Okay.
All right. So your shoes are on. Everything's good. All right. So sit up on the side for me. You need some help with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here, let me try to help you a little bit. Okay. So if you can, we're going to swing these legs around to the side, and I'm going to help lift you up. Okay. So I'm just going to stick my hand right here underneath your shoulder. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
And you can use this hand to help me out. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done. So how you feeling? Are you lightheaded at all?
No, I'm good.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put this gate bell around you, all right, before we get up.
Okay.
Thank you. Patient, and this is on gate bell. How's that feel?
All right.
Good. All right. So all I want you to try to do next is we're going to scoot, and that's just there for me to help you if I need to. All right. So I want you to try to stand up the best you can here, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done. Feeling all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well done. All right. And we're gonna walk over there. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're gonna turn around. Okay, nicely done. And we're gonna take a seat here. Nice and slow and controlled. Yeah. Nice. Good job. All right. Now we're gonna try to stand up. 1, 2, 3, and go. Gotcha. All right. Well done. Thank you, sir. So what we just went through in the last video was the basic mobility portion of the AMPAC. There are 3 portions of the AMPAC. PT is solely and most often responsible with performing the basic mobility part. Now, this part of the test is usually performed without the patient's knowledge and just while doing a eval. So it's not like we're running the patient through individual tests. There are 6 parts of each part of the AMPAC. That's why they're called 6 clicks, because there's usually 6 questions. On this form here, the 6th question has been taken out because the patient was unable to do that at all. So the 6th question would have been climbing 3 to 5 steps with a railing. They are completely unable to do that, so the question was removed. 1, we saw him turn in the bed. He needed a little help to do that. 2, sitting down and standing up from a chair. with arms. We saw him do that. He needed a little help to perform that. Moving from lying on his back to sitting, he needed a lot of help with that. He had a lot of difficulty, so we had to help him do that. Moving to and from a bed to a chair, we saw him walk. So that would be here. But when he moved from the bed to the chair, I didn't need to help him a lot. All right. So he needed a little help, but not a lot. And needing to walk in a hospital room, so walking around and going to the chair, he needed a little help in order to perform that. So here at the top, each one of these is assigned a number, 1, 2, 3, and 4, depending on where you think your patient sits. So needing a little help is marked as a 3, needing a lot of help is marked as a 2. We simply add all these numbers up and get a raw score. And the raw score with these numbers would be 14. Then we take this score and we divide it by the total number, which would be the max score would be a 4 on each column, being 24 total. We divide 14 by 24, gives ourselves a percentage, which is the score that we didn't take, which was 58.33%. And we take that score and we compare it to where the patient falls, percentile ranking for the test. So our patient fell here. Okay. Moving around indoors is where they fall. Your score suggests that you may be able to move about on the ground floor of your home where you're familiar with the environment. You can pause the video and read through all these if you're interested. I'm not going to read through them and waste your time. The other parts of the AMPAC, which PT usually doesn't perform, OT or neurology will perform this. All right. This one's the daily activities form. Home health may do this as well. And I have some boxes X'd here. You can read through and kind of try to score it yourself and do the math like we did before, and then find where this patient falls in the back sheet here. Okay. And then this is the applied cognitive part of the AMPAC, which usually neurology or someone else, speech might do this. I have some boxes X'd here, and you can score it yourself. I have the raw score and the percent already gotten for you, but you can do the math if you want, and then see where the patient falls here for the test. Yeah. Thank you very much.